Okay, let's start then. Thank you for attending my talk. Not that many people, but yeah, I know security afraid people, so maybe they will join later. They are missing great live coding session that I will show you. So it's my first time here in Minsk. I'm really proud to be here at Vox Day Minsk. And let's go. You're really brave, because I will talk about security. You know, it's boring. I'm Sebastien Blanc. I worked for Red Hat, and I work for the Keycloak team. And my talk is about Keycloak, okay? So let's talk about delegating your security. Why do you want to delegate your security? That's what Kim does. She delegates her security to this really hungry bodyguard. Okay? And, well, there are a few reasons why you want to delegate your security. First one is you don't want to repeat yourself. Because imagine when you have to implement security authentication, most of the time it's at the end of your project. Someone says, oh yeah, it's true, we must add a login screen, we must manage users, and you do that quickly. And if you do that yourself, just let's take 1 minute to see everything that needs to happen. You need to write your own logging form. You probably want to create a page where the user can manage his profile. And then you have the backend. You have to find a way how you check the credentials. You have to store the users. Okay, that creates other tables in your database. You have to store passwords. Do you know how to securely store passwords in your database? And then, of course, you have your backend, your frontend. You have to glue that all together. You have to manage all the authentication flows, maybe some authorization. And you do that, you package that, you put your app in production, and you start a new project. And guess what? You have to do it all over again. Okay? So for each project, you have to re-implement the security layer. And maybe project 1 was in Java, and maybe project 2 is in Go. So you can not even reuse the code that you wrote for your security in the Go project. That's the first reason. Second reason is you're not a security expert. Even if you think you are not. That research was pretty nice. I asked 33 developers, professionals, not students, to develop a simple web app with a logging screen. And, well, more than a half of the developers, they leave the password in clear text. Okay? Even big companies. So I don't know if you heard that story last year on Twitter. There was a guy in Austria calling the customer service of T-Mobile because he had an issue with his phone. I don't remember exactly the story, but he realized that the customer service had access to his password, and that would not be possible. That is a really bad practice. Though he complained a bit, and the community manager of T-Mobile, he made that tweet that became pretty famous. He said, what if it doesn't happen because our security is amazingly good? Well, guess what? 30 minutes after this tweet, that is the website of T-Mobile Austria. It was hacked. You see? That was so funny, with the text of the tweet inside. So you're not a security expert. That's why you want to delegate your security. And that's exactly what Keycloak is. Keycloak, you download the zip, you unzip it, you start it, you configure it, and you have a full identity management server that will take care of your users, storing your passwords, handling all your authentication flows. Could it be OpenID Connect or SAML or even Kerberos? And all you have to do in your application that you secure is to add a small library that just communicates with Keycloak. We will see that in details. Okay, so usually I use this picture here to explain the main concept of Keycloak. So Keycloak, you give to Keycloak a realm to secure, a territory. Realm is a really difficult word to me to say in French. In English, sorry. So I like to speak about territories. So you say, Here, Keycloak, this is the territory that you have to secure. And on this territory, there are different cities. In the north, there's GEE land. No one wants to go there anymore. But then you have Angular land. That's the place to be. Everyone wants to go there. You have microservices land. Not sure what is happening there. And of course, king of the world, Node.js land. And you arrive with your boat and you navigate to Angular land. So you open your browser and you navigate to your web app. What happens there? Hey, border control, Sebi, you are not authenticated. Please go to the Keycloak island to authenticate yourself. And I get a redirect, really an HTTP redirect. That sends me back to the Keycloak server. And here I'm on the Keycloak server. I enter my credentials. And if everything is OK, like at the customs, I get a stamp. And with this stamp, I can go back on my island and visit all these awesome cities. OK? This stamp is just not a random stamp, a random generated token. It's more than that. It's a JWT, as we call it, a JWT token. It's a token that is self-contained, that contains payload. We will see that in details in 2 minutes, I think. How do you obtain this token? Because you have to obtain that token to be able to call other services in your architecture. Let's see. Basically, I show you here the details, but Keycloak will hide that for you. Keycloak always exposes an endpoint where you can obtain your token. How do you usually obtain it? Well, most of the time it's on your web app. You log in, so you use the Keycloak's JavaScript adapter. Okay? There are a few other options. I'll leave them. I won't talk about it because we will focus on the JavaScript adapter. Once you're logged in, you will not get one token, but you will get 3 tokens. You will get an ID token. That is a token really specific to OpenID Connect. This is your identity card. It's a token that contains, well, your username, your last name, your email, whatever you want. It's really flexible format. You can put whatever you want inside. You have an access token. That is the token that you will use from your web app if you need to call a REST service, for instance, which is also secured. You will need this token, okay? And this access token has a really short lifespan, at least for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, this token is not valid anymore. So we also get a third token, the refresh token, that you can use to obtain a fresh access token. Okay? So basically, how does it happen? It's a bit like the picture I show you, but more boring, more corporate. I open my app. I click on the login button. I'm redirected to Keycloak. I enter my credentials. Here, the whole OAuth 2 flow happens. This is hide for you. And it returns the tokens. Here I mentioned just the ID token, but because if you have a monolithic web app, all you need is the ID token because you won't call any other services. Okay? Let's see that in real life. So I have here a really simple app. Let me just refresh. Okay, I have here a really simple app. I'm not logged in, and when I will click on the login, I will be redirected to my Keycloak server. Okay, so here I click on the login. And now I'm not on my web app anymore. I'm on the Keycloak server. And there I can enter my credentials. So here it's really difficult. It's Sebi. I log in. And Keycloak redirects me back to the app. Now I'm logged in. You see here a missing picture. We will fix that in a few moments. But let's take a look at the tokens that they give us back. So as you can see here, we got our refresh token, our ID token with a lot of information. Here my walls, my username, and the access token that I will use to make REST calls. Okay? And when I will make REST calls, I won't send it in this format, but I will send it in base 64 format. We will come back to this later. Okay? First thing, Keycloak also comes with a profile account page, so each user that logs in can also access his own account to update his details. So if I go here to account, you see here I just have Sebi as username, and I can put my email. Autofill, perfect. I save it. Okay, I save it, and now I go back to my web app. Let me log in, and let me check my token. And here I should see the details, okay? Let's try to fix that. I would like to show here my profile picture. So I need to add a custom claim. A claim is a property from my token. Okay, so let's go to the Keycloak web console where you can configure everything. So I just go there. I go to my administration console, admin, really secure. Okay, and this is my console. Here I am on my realm, my territory that I call Voxed, and that is where I can control everything. I can manage my roles, my users, my clients. So what is a client for Keycloak? Any app that you will secure, being it a front-end app, a back-end app, is called a client for Keycloak. Okay? So what we said, yeah, we want to add a new attribute to our users. So let's go to my users. Here I have Sebi, okay, and I have here an attribute field, and what I can do, for instance, is call an attribute called avatar, and as value, I should have it here, yeah. I just put it here, and then add it, okay? Now my user has this attribute, but it's not enough. It won't come in my token by magic. I have to specify to the client, so the web app, to map this user attribute to the token. How can I do that? I go to the clients, so here, different client configured. My web app is called Quarkus Front, and what I can do is create a mapper. Here I do create a new mapper, and it's a mapper of the type user attribute. And here I just specify which attribute I want, avatar. I can give it the name I want on my token. Here I can decide, well, I want it on my ID token. I don't need it in my access token because REST services don't care about my profile picture. Okay, so here I just save, I forgot the name, avatar, here we go, and I save it. And now if I refresh here, login, it doesn't work. Let me just make sure I got my avatar. It doesn't appear. What happened? Did I save it? Avatar, user attribute, avatar. Oh, string. Probably this. I forgot to mention a type. So if I refresh here, I log in, and it doesn't work. Okay, the demo gods are playing with me right now. I have no idea what is happening. Let me just quickly see here, Keycloak .id token parsed, and I want to check my avatar. It is undefined. Okay, so I have a demo effect, not sure why it is happening right now. Too bad. Should be there. Just let me check it one more time where it is not there. Mapper. Okay, I rerun it just before, and it was all working. No, but normally, if the demo gods doesn't play with me like they are doing now, and I have no idea why, I should have here something called avatar pointing to my image picture, and it should be displayed here, because then I parse the token and I just grab the URL here. For some reason, he decided to have some fun with me. Let me see if I just update it here, and I just do, let me do logout, a login again. CB, oh, CB. Okay, so let's forget for this part now. Too bad. No idea what is happening. Anyway, let's go for a while just back to our login screen, okay? And let's see how we can tweak that. Because here, if I go to my Realm settings, I have a tab called Login, and maybe I want new users to be able to register. I probably will forget my password, so I want to forget password link. I want to remember me, and I save that. And if I refresh here, now you can see I have the remember me, forgot password, and I can register new users. Maybe your boss wants that your users can use social accounts to log in. Sure, that is also possible. If you go here to identity providers, you can just add a provider. You are all developers here, I guess, so let's add GitHub provider. Here, normally you create an application in GitHub, and it will give you a client ID and a secret. Let me just put here dummy numbers just to show you how it works. Okay, here we go, and if I refresh, now I will be able to log in with my GitHub account, okay? So that is how easy I can tweak my login screen. Of course, the look and feel here is based on themes, and you can change that. You can create your own theme to match the look and feel of your company. Let's log in again. And let me see now. So we have this access token, like here. And this is what I'm going to use to call a REST service. Okay? So let me just go back to my slides for a while. Here we go. Okay. So what will happen when I will send a request from my web app to a backend service? I will put this token in a header called Authorization. My service will grab this token, and this token has been signed by Keycloak. It has been signed with a private key. And my service has access to the public key. And it just needs the public key to verify the signature of my token. And that is enough for him to say, OK, it's a valid token. This person is authenticated. OK? So it retrieves the public key and it verifies the token. Retrieving the public key just happens when you start your app. If you don't trust your service for some reason, you can also ask to Keycloak to verify your token. But be careful, if you are under heavy load, that means that for each request, your service will go back to Keycloak to verify the token. Offline verification is enough most of the time. So basically, how do you make this kind of request? So, for instance, in our Java app, JavaScript app, web app, you create just a new AJAX request, and if you have access to the Keycloak object, we will see the code in a few moments. You just set a new header authorization with the value bearer, space, and your token. How do we do it in Java? So imagine here we are in a servlet method. You can grab the Keycloak security context, then you use whatever HTTP client that you want, and again, really easily, you just add a header here. And I have the last example. Oh, in Kotlin, because why not in Kotlin? It's fun. It's really concise. That is a Kotlin app with Spring Boot. And we have a special library for Spring Boot where you can use the Keycloak REST template customizer. If you use this template, this REST template, you don't have to care at all by putting the token in the header, because the template will do that for you. And here you just do a get, and the custom template takes care of putting the header. OK? So let's take a look at this. If we go back to our application here, I have something called service call, and if I click, it should not work, unavailable, because, yeah, I don't have any service right now. And let's take a look at the code. That is the Node.js app. That is for just after. And let me go to the correct one. Here. No, sorry. Where is my Quarkus font? Here, sorry. That is a web app, just to show you how you can use Keycloak in the web app. It's pretty easy. You import the Keycloak library, and once you have it, you just create a new instance of your Keycloak object. Here, you do the init, and once the guy will click on login, it will do the whole redirect flow, and you will be able to obtain the tokens. I don't go into the details too much, but let's just take a look at the service call. Here, you recognize the code that I showed you just before. We set the header, and we set the token here, and we call this service. But the problem is that this service doesn't exist right now. So let's create this service, and let's see how our application can call this service, OK? So I'm checking the time. OK, let me create an application from scratch, OK? So let's create a new. Is the font OK, or do you want it a bit bigger? It's OK, so? A bit bigger? No, OK. Sorry, I didn't hear it. So let's call it the product service. OK, I go to my product service. And I will not use, usually I show Spring Boot or Node.js. This time I will create a Quarkus app. Does anyone was at Burst Talk just before? OK. Just you? OK, so Quarkus is a new, really exciting Java stack to build your applications. I'm really excited about it, not because it's Red Hat, because it's a really exciting technology. So, but we will see that right now. So I create a new Maven, a new Quarkus app, and for that I can use the Maven plugin of Quarkus. And here I call the archetype, and I have a create. So here I say my package is .sebi, and then I will call that the product service, version 1, yes. Do you want a REST endpoint? Of course I want one. I will call it org.sebi.product resource. And no, I don't want to listen it on hello, but I want to listen this on products. OK. And my project is done, OK? So let me load that project in IntelliJ. OK, so I open my new project, and it's in Vox Live. That's the one. OK, here we go. Let's do a new window, because that's my backup. And since the demo gods are playing a bit with me, OK, here we go. So that's my product service. And you can see here, if I open the product, it just has created an endpoint for me. Okay? Before diving into the Keycloak part, let me show you a bit how nice Quarkus is. So what we'll go do here is build my app and start it in dev mode, Quarkus dev mode. That means that my app will be running, and while it is running, I can keep debug mode. No, ignore the error. That's just the debug port. I can just keep implementing my app, and it just will work. Okay? So if I go here to my terminal and I do a curl localhost 8080/products, you can see that it returns hello. And if I go here and I do hello voxed, I save it, and I curl again, I'd say hello voxed this time. You see, it's instantly reloaded. It goes even farther than that. I can just take that and create a new method, like on pass, on, let's call it affair, and here we call it bonjour, and put it in French, bonjour voxed. I save it, and here, if I curl again /affair, I see bonjour voxed. You see, though, the developer experience is really great. for that. But what we want is create a service secured with Keycloak. It's a product service, okay? So let's just get rid of that. And let's create an get product app, and that will return a hard-coded list of products. Arrays as list, and it returns an iPhone and Android. Android. Okay, return just 2 products. Awesome. Okay, how I'm going to secure that with Keycloak? The great thing is that we have, so Quarkus works with extensions, and there are a lot of extensions for REST Easy, stuff like that. There's also an extension for Keycloak. So all we need to do here is to add a new dependency. It's called Keycloak, there it is. And since I will manipulate a bit JSON objects, I also want JSON B. Okay, that will be enough. Let me do the out import. Okay, because I added new dependencies, the live reload won't work. So let me stop it for now, and we will restart it again. What do I need to do? I need to provide some configuration for my Keycloak extension. You could use the properties files here, but you can also do it the classic way how Keycloak expected is a JSON file called keycloak.json. So let's do that for now. Keycloak.json. And here you will see my fast typing skills. I type really fast. Okay, so basically, here I say to which realm I want to connect, where my identity server is running, and how my resource is called, how my client is called on this side, okay? And I have one last thing to do, is to add, I have to change this as well, JSON, let's make it JSON. And here, I have just one annotation to add, role allowed, and here I say, the user must have the role user to be able to access this path, okay? So, what is, and I have to return, I just have to return a list of strings. Yeah, thank you, IntelliJ. Okay, let me start the application again. Should be fast. Oh, and it will fail because I didn't update the test case. And I have a really nice way of fixing the test. Don't do that at home. The best step of today. Okay, here we go again. Now, because it's secure, so it's not expecting a 200, but a 401. Okay, let's make sure that our endpoint is secured. So if I curl again against product, not authorized, you can see here. So that's good news. That means that my app is secured. I need one more thing, because my web app is not running on the same domain. I need some CORS. I'm sure you all have fun with CORS. So what I will do is create a new CORS filter really quickly. It's CORS filter. And again, here you can see how fast I can type. So, pretty basic. Let's not spend time on that. And that should be enough. And now, if I go back to my app here, and I'm a bit afraid because the demo gods already ruined my first demo, but let's see how it goes. So if I go with Sebi, and I go here to my service call, I call my service, and you see here my products. We can take a look at the network here if you want. It's pretty interesting if you see the call. So here you have the products, and here you can see the authorization header, where you put my header. Okay? So that is how easily I created from live a new app. I have 20 minutes left, so what I want to do now is going a step further. I have here No, not here, but here. I have here a Node.js app, a REST service also. And he has an endpoint called Premium Product. This returns just one extra product, okay? And as you can see, it's protected by Keycloak as well. So we have a Node.js module for Keycloak. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is to specify it in your Keycloak in your package JSON here to the latest version, and then you are ready to go. You have some small configuration to do here, Keycloak, but basically it works with Express, and in any route that you define, you can pass Keycloak as a middleware. And here I say, okay, this route is protected, and the user must have the role user. Okay, so let's start this Node.js app. Okay, npm start. Here we go, it started. Awesome. If I open a new window here, and I do a curl localhost 3000 premium products, access denied. So it's okay, my Node.js service is running, and it is protected. No one can access it if they don't have a token. What I want to show you is how we are going to update our product service that we just built so that this app can also, here, what I want to do is call from here the Node.js app to get that extra product and add it to my list, okay? And for that, I'm going to use another extension for Quarkus, which is called the REST client. So let me add a new dependency, and it's called client. It's called the small way REST client, okay? So with that, I can easily create a REST client. Let me show you how that works. Basically, what you do here, you create a new file. It's an interface. To define your REST client as interface, let's call it premium service. Okay, here we go. Let me make it a bit bigger. Premium service, and here I add some annotation. I want, register as a REST client, and I want to register client headers. This second one is really interesting. I will show you that. Basically, it allows me to automatically propagate headers that I receive from my first request. So I don't have to care of adding myself the headers. Okay, and this one is a printy method. It's a string get premium. Okay, and return the string, and here we go. Let me update a bit this part. So I inject here my REST client, which is called premium service. Here we go, and here I do just string premium service get premium, and here I add my premium. Okay, almost there. I need just to specify two properties. Let me go to the properties here. I have to specify and with client. Again, I use a shortcut for that because it's not that interesting. Basically, here I tell where my service is running, and here I tell which headers should be propagated. Okay? And I just remember that I forgot something really important. So it's great that I put it here. Here I have to put a path as well, and it's called premium products. Okay? And he is complaining. Okay, we don't care. Hopefully. Now I just restart my app. So is that the app? I have to stop it and start it again because I added a new dependency to my POM. And, oh, did I did a typo? Did you saw where I, product resource? Product resource, I did a typo somewhere. Oh yeah, semicolon. Java is so stupid. I'm an old groovy developer. I didn't care about semicolons. Okay, let's go again. Okay, product in use. My Node.js service is running, awesome. Okay, let's go back to the front-end app. Let me log out, let me log in, just to be sure. Sebi. Here we go. And now I go to my service call. And okay. Wow. Let me see. Could not find method for public abstract string, premium service, get premium. Okay. Let me just open my backup. As you can see, I did a lot of tests. Product service, this one, this window. Get premium, oh yeah, sorry. And that is probably best product producers. Okay, which is client. Okay, it's probably because I forgot to put this here. Oh yeah, I have to produce this application text. And there was another annotation, no, that I missed, I think. Yes, huh? Oh no, that's the same one. Oh, I'm just in panic mode when things doesn't go. Oh yeah, and a get, sorry. I went a bit too fast. I'm just upset about my avatar stuff, which is not the greatest demo I ever made, but yeah, still, I don't understand why it doesn't work. Okay, that is okay. I shouldn't have to reload, apparently. And if I go here, let me just refresh this way and do login and service call. And yes, it's working. So here you see we added quite a lot of stuff in our app. So we started from a web app that obtained a token, and you can use this token to first call our Quarkus service. And this Quarkus service will call a Node.js service, which is also secured by Keycloak. 10 minutes. Great. 10 minutes that give me the opportunity to show you at least 2 more things. What I wanted to show you is a bit of authorization, because what we saw until now was authentication. I just authenticate myself, and we had some basic role-based access control, which is in my app. But Keycloak is also a full authorization server, and that means that you can also delegate all your authorization rules to Keycloak. So instead of having the, let me show you the code. Instead of your resource, instead of having this, you just remove it. You just remove it, and Keycloak will handle that. Okay? So let's see how we can do that. For that, first thing, I need some extra configuration. And again, it's a bit boring for you to see that, not really interesting. But it's almost the same, except that here I specify a policy enforcer. And when the configurations see that, he knows that it has to use the authorization service as well. And it will send a request to Keycloak to retrieve all the permissions. Okay? That is all I need to do on the app side. So I removed my annotation. And now I need to go to my console. And I need to enable authorization. So that's my product service here. It's right here. It's a very-only client. We don't really have time to dive into that. But the thing is, we need to make it a confidential client first. Okay? Confidential client means that the app will need to share a secret. Let me do that right now, because otherwise I will be sure to forget it. And that is probably not the same. So that just means when my app starts up, it exchanges the secret with the Keycloak server to be authenticated as well, okay? And what I have here is authorization. I can just enable authorization, okay, and I save it. And now I have an authorization tab, extra. And there I can define my authorization resources. And what we want to do is have the same behavior as before. So we want a role-based resource, okay? So let's create a new resource called role resource. Here we go, role resource. And we want to apply that on the products URI. And I think it's okay. That's great. I come back to my rule. And here I need to create a permission. And my resource could have more than one permission. We will see that. Let's create a role permission. And here we create a new policy, a role-based policy. So we call it the role policy. Well, or role stuff, yeah, we don't care. Here I can choose a role. So in my app, I add just one role for now, user, and I say it's required, okay? I save this, I save this. I should be good to go. So let's try it. My product service, I think no reload is needed. So let's go back here. And it should just work as before. Yeah, it works as before. And that's what we want. But remember, we removed the role load annotation. And to prove that, let me just do that. Let me create a new role called super user. Okay, super user. And I go back to my client, product service. And I go here, I go to my policy, my role stuff, and here I say, okay, now I want extract security. The user must also have the role super user, okay? And I make this required, I save it, and here if I log in again, and I try to call my service, it doesn't work because I don't have the role. You see? So I was able to manage my roles from the Keycloak side. And if I go here to my users, to Sebi, and I go to the role mapping, and this time I assign this role to here, I just refresh, and this time I should be able to get my products back. Okay? 5 minutes, awesome. Let me just add another policy that I really like. It's really funny. And great for demo purposes. Authorization, let's go to my resource. Let's create a new permission based on time. The time policy, time permission. Okay, time perm, okay, here we go. And here I want to create a policy based on time. You cannot make it really fine-grained, but imagine we want user only to be able to access my service between 17 and 18. That is right now, okay? And I give it a name, time. Here we go, save, okay. And that means that if I refresh here and I log in again, I should be able, yeah, okay, that works great. And just to prove it, it's working. If I go back to my time, I make it from 18 to 19, so we are not in this slot. Oh. Save, okay. I go back to my app. Service call. It doesn't work. You see? So you can centralize your whole authorization. Sorry?
You forget to log in.
Oh, forget to log in?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Thank you. That's why I got service unavailable. But it works. It doesn't show, okay? So I got 4 minutes left, is that correct? Okay. Okay. I don't have, I was planning to show you how to secure a PHP app. That was really a challenge for me. But because if you don't have a Keycloak adapter library, we have something that is called the Keycloak Gatekeeper, which is a proxy sidecar app that you can put in front of any application. So imagine an old COBOL or a PHP app. You still can put the Gatekeeper in front of that. Oh yeah, I know what I can show you. You know two-factor authentication, where you have to log in and then enter code with Google Authenticator or something like that? Would be cool to have that in our app. Okay, OTP form, let's make it required. Let's see how that works. Okay, let me log out. Let me log in. Sebi. Hey, now I need to scan my QR code. So I think I have a QR. Yeah, I have Google Authenticator here. I want to scan a new bar. Okay, here we go. And now I voxed. Oh, I have voxed 34903. Submit. Okay, I have now two-factor authentication. And that setup is just the first time, of course. So if I log in again, I just need to enter the code. Okay, and I just showed you that at the end, otherwise I have to do that all the time. So that is how easy it is to add two-factor authentication. There's way more. Yesterday I gave an 8 hours Keycloak workshop here in the other room. All the content will be available with the examples. So if you want to dive, I cover more or less what I did here, but in 8 hours, so I show a lot of more stuff. But I have very detailed instructions, and people can just follow it. You can just reach out to me on Twitter, or I'm here until tomorrow if you have questions. And I would like to thank you and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you. Any questions? No? Yeah? Oh, 2 questions, yeah.
Thank you for your talk. I wonder how the annotation allowed roles work under the hood. Does it call some? Does it check every time SS code on the Keycloak?
Oh no, the roles allowed. No, it uses the token. On the token here, when I pass the token, in the access token, I got the roles here. So when the request comes in with the token, the annotation just look at the token. It doesn't need to ask. Oh, you mean for the second part, what I showed, the authorization?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the authorization is when this app loads up, it retrieves all the authorization permissions, and there's an authorization library that can check based on the client and the permission it has, if it checks. And so then you can specify some refresh cache, because your authorization can change. So you can say every 2 minutes, go back to Keycloak to get the fresh permissions. But most of the time, it's the first time I get the permission, and then you can do that offline. Okay.
Thank you.
As far as I can see, there is a custom login page, yeah?
A custom login page?
Yeah.
Well, that's the default one, yeah. But you can customize it, yeah. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the registration flow and the user management, something like that? For example, I want to change my password, but with my custom UI, or the same with the registration?
Okay, so as I said, you can change the theme if you want, but you can also change the behavior of that. So you mean you want to, because even the registration form, you can customize that as well. And you can just package it in your Keycloak server, and you will have your customized app. Or the other way to do everything that I show you on the console or the registration is also exposed as REST. So You could have an other app that creates users for you, add roles for you, reset the passwords for you.
So basically, all forms are directed into the Keycloak.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes, that's how the OpenID Connect
And
dance works.
if there is a possibility to forward via my backend application. So for example, I'm resetting my password and I send in all the data from my backend to the Keycloak, not from the client.
Yeah, you want to have your own login
for instance,
on your
yeah.
app. You can do that. It's called direct grant. You just send your username and password to Keycloak, and it gives you back the token without doing the redirect. But it's a pretty bad practice. You should not do it.
I gotcha, thank you.
Okay.
Well, first, thank you. It was very interesting and informative. And my question is that hard to run Keycloak in HA mode?
Sorry, in the?
So that it is actually highly available.
Sorry, I missed the question. Is it hard to...
Is it hard to run Keycloak in HA mode? Well, do we just duplicate instances, or is it some extra work that needs to be done? Yeah.
For the clustering?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, Keycloak is based on Wildfly, the application server. And Wildfly has a really solid clustering system, and we just rely on the clustering of Wildfly. So we support cross-data center as well, and we use infinity span for the distributed cache. So yeah, 2 weeks ago was a nice blog post from the community, a guy that explained how we did the clustering for Keycloak. So you can find more details there. But yeah, we support clustering pretty out of the box.
And basically, you can even put some auto-scaling policies, and it can actually shrink and upscale automatically.
Yes.
Based on the law. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. Okay, thank you again.